How do you choose what stamp sets to buy? Today I'm going to walk you through how I look at a stamp set and choose what's going to be good for me and how I can change it up and get more bang for my buck. And in the process we're going to be making 5 different Christmas cards, all based on this one set. So this is the set I'm going to be using today. It's from Catherine Pooler and it's called Jar Full of Joy. Now what I like about this set is that it has multiple different elements within the set. The main focal point or the main image is obviously that jar, and I love that it comes with its coordinating dies as well because we're going to be using those along the way. This stamp set is aimed at holiday cards and Christmas cards, but when I look at it I can actually see so much more. Today I am going to focus on Christmas cards because this is part of my same but different Christmas card series. And I'm going to start by using the stamp set as it was intended to create a jar full of sweets, or lollies as we call them in Australia. I stamped the jar shape with the ink called On the Lake, which is a kind of like a beautiful slate blue colour. You could stamp it in black ink or use a lighter blue if you want. It's almost like no line colouring by using the blue ink here because I'm going to be trying to get the look of a glass jar so that you can see the sweets stamped within the jar. Or here I'm creating marshmallows. So I've got the cotton candy ink because I like pink marshmallows, especially roasted on the fire. And I'm not doing any major masking here. I'm just building them up within the jar. A few of them I actually came in and stamped twice to get like a brighter or a different sort of shade of pink on the marshmallows. And then I decided to come in and stamp the Snowman face on the actual marshmallows because that just adds a little bit of fun too. So I have some Prismacolor pencils here, and to make it look like it's a glass jar, I'm actually making sure to colour a little bit away from the line and also over top of the marshmallows themselves because that's going to make it look like they're behind the glass. It's a card. I didn't want to make it too fancy. I just wanted to have fun with these cute images. But I do kind of come back and forth, and colouring with pencils isn't the fastest process, but I find it very relaxing and enjoy it. There's a bow that comes in the set that has 2 layers, and I did stamp that out and didn't align them very well. So a good trick here is to come in with a pencil of the same colour and you can actually sort of colour in the section that you missed. Pro tip for misstamping there. Also shaded and die cut the pieces out and then created the label. All the sentiments, most of the sentiments today from the holiday one-liner sentiments stamp set that I love. I got it last year from Catherine Pooler, and these sets that I got today were gifted me from Catherine Pooler. I just thought it'd be great to be able to show you how to look at a stamp set and get more from it, but you could certainly recreate these cards using whatever you have in your stash. I added some striped paper, which is from the Cookies and Milk pattern paper pack, and decided to pop up the jar with some fun foam. And the sentiment, I toyed around with it a little bit. I wasn't really sure where to go, but in the end I decided to make it a label on the jar. So I coloured some cardstock with one of the Samba ink, and it's really easy to do that with the Catherine Pooler inks because they're so vibrant. You can create your own matching coloured cardstock just by simply swiping the ink on a piece of white cardstock, and it's going to coordinate perfectly. So let's take another look at the set and those 2 circles, the large one and the small one. I'm going to create a snowman or snow woman with those 2 circles. So I'm stamping them out with the cotton candy ink, and they're not perfectly circular, but that doesn't matter because it's a snow woman. And there is a cute little image here, like a pattern that's in the set, and I decided to stamp that over the cotton candy ink, and this is using the with an olive, and I thought this just looked beautiful together. And here's a bonus idea: you can also create a bow with the ribbon that is incorporated in the set. I just used a piece of post-it note to mask off the edge and stamped it out as I normally would. And because there's coordinating dies for this, it just made it so easy. I didn't have to cut it out by hand. I'm also creating a little bit of my own design paper, coloured cardstock, using that with an olive. Isn't that an amazing colour? And looking at those circles, like where I've created the body of the snowman woman, wouldn't they make great baubles? That was another idea. I didn't get around to that one today, but how cool would that be to have baubles using those round circles out of the set? I know, like there's just so many things you can do with this set. I cut my own arms for the snow woman out of my cardstock, as well as a carrot nose, and popped them up onto a square card. It's a 4 1/4 square. I added some more of that design paper in the back, but I didn't like how I'd done her face. I just drew some eyes on and it wasn't making me happy. So I simply used my second die cut that I'd already made. Often I'll do a couple at a time, just to save me time if I do misstamp or make an error. And this time I came in and added a couple of really fine rhinestones for her eyes, and of course a sequin on her tummy. And I was much happier with that. How sweet is that bow/ribbon? I'm going to use that again later in today's design, so keep an eye out for that. We're on to design number 3 now, and this time I'm not using the stamp set. I'm actually going to create a ceramic jar or a pottery jar using some ivory cardstock that I cut, just use the die cut to cut it out, and then you can add whatever pattern you want. I decided to use the Piping Practice set and that blue on the lake colour. I also used that circular design that came out of this set. Initially, I was just going to use that circular design all over the jar. I think that would look amazing as well. And I saw these lines on the Piping Practice set and I just had to do that. But you can use whatever colour you want. I just love those old ceramic jars. I did use some really smooth cardstock for the ivory cardstock, so it was hard to colour and get good shading. And here's another bonus idea. We're going to be making some cookies. So the actual stamp set has some shapes in it that you can use as sweets for the jar. And what I did was actually stamped out a couple of the stars, and then I used the snowman, or the large circle that I cut the snowman out of, to cut those stars, and made them into cookies by colouring them up with some pencils and adding the dots. The dots are the key with the cookies. Did take a little bit of time to colour these up, but I think the result was worth it. If you have a cookie stamp, then that would probably be easier. But I love to colour. I kept the jar as the focal point again because yes, it is a large feature for a card. And this time I added the lid, which I'd also created in ceramic, at the base of the jar. Then I came in and added my 2 cookies with a little bit of extra icing. I do struggle with the white gel pen. It works on most kind of cardstocks, I find, but sometimes I have real white gel pen issues. I've tried quite a few brands and my favourite so far is the Jelly Roll, but I did struggle on today's cookies. As usual, I've added dimension to all my cards today, but you don't have to do that if you want to keep postage down. So let's take another look at the set now. It has some leaf and what I can see as berry images. So let's create a wreath. I'm using the same colours throughout today's cards, but you can use whatever Christmas colours you prefer. If you know me, you know I like to change it up a little bit and get a bit of a different look. So I will list all of the colours that I've used today in the description below, but there'll also be lots more links at the blog as well. So I decided to stamp some of the images on the card base itself. They're fairly clean and simple designs, really easy to recreate and also mass produce if you are someone who likes to make multiples of the same card. I did create another bow. I just love how easy this was to do, and I thought it'd be fun to have that at the base of the wreath. I've got lots of images sort of underneath the wreath, on top. Some are adhered directly to the card base, some are popped up. I just had so much fun playing with this. You might see I've used the snow woman's face again, and this time she became berries. So I did add some little white centers to the berries that I die cut from another set. It was just a tiny little die. You know how some of those sets have those layering pieces? And I adhered it all together and added a few of the sequins. These are from the Patagonia set. They're really pretty colors, and they coordinated really beautifully with these colors that I use today. And initially I was going to do the sentiment in the center of the wreath, but changed my mind and kept it really simple and just stamped another one from the holiday one-liner set in the bottom corner. And I decided to create a bonus card with you today. This is a bokeh background. I know the circles have featured hugely in today's designs. So if you have some circle stamps, you could easily recreate something like this. I just love this combination of colors together. This card came together in a matter of minutes, and I used a combination of the large circle and the small circle, all three colors, and kind of just spread them out over the A2 card and added a simple Christmas sentiment from the stamp set as well, which just simply says Noel. I did think about popping the sentiment up because there is a coordinating die for that, but this is one layer card, which was very quick and easy to do. Let's see how we stretch this set today. I started, my first card was using it as it was intended by creating a jar full of marshmallows or sweets. My second card, I have a snow woman with a bonus bow, which also could be a bauble. She could be baubles. My third card is a ceramic jar without the stamped edge of the jar, and I also created some awesome cookies to fill the jar with. And next, it's a wreath using the foliage and the berries from the set, and a little bit of sparkle from those beautiful sequins. And my final bonus card today is a bokeh background using those awesome circular stamps that came in the set that really featured heavily in all of today's designs. Let me know in the comments below which one's your favorite today. And if you've enjoyed this series so far, I'm going to link a couple more videos from my previous Same But Different Christmas card series, and I look forward to seeing you there. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.